Storybook Land in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey is one of the most charming theme parks I have ever visited. My original intention was to stop in and get at least one new roller coaster credit, but I found myself spending some additional time soaking up this park's beautiful atmosphere. First and foremost, this is a children's park. Every single ride in the park is catered towards younger riders. That being said, a majority of the rides are designed such that adults can ride with kids, so many are very accommodating to adults. So I was far from the park's target audience, but at no point did I feel unwelcome there. Storybook Land is located roughly an hour south of Six Flags Great Adventure and 45 minutes north of Morey's Piers, so it's roughly halfway between both parks. It's also 20 minutes from Steel Pier, Gillian's Wonderland Pier, and Playland's Castaway Cove. So it's in a really convenient location for coaster enthusiasts that just want to get a coaster credit and leave. But for families who want to spend a day at this charming park, it's 20 minutes from popular vacation spots like Atlantic City and Ocean City. As of 2020, Storybook Land costs roughly $30 per person. That price point may be a bit steep for a thrill seeker, but it's extremely fair for families with young children, as this park is extremely well taken care of and it has plenty to keep them busy all day. And the themed experience starts at the entry gates. The park's main entrance is this adorable castle, and the park reveal on the other side is fantastic. Very little of the park can be seen from the outside, so I had no clue just how widespread and detailed the park's theming would be. There were too many exhibits to recount them all, but around every corner you'll find a giant statue or themed walkthrough. Every single exhibit looked extremely well maintained. My personal favorite was the Alice in Wonderland walkthrough. The experience began with an underground tunnel with some black-lit murals retelling the classic tale, but then it ends with this outdoor maze through the Queen of Hearts card deck. The other walkthroughs are on the far shorter side, but they all tell familiar childhood tales like Little Red Riding Hood and The Little Old Lady in the Shoe. As I mentioned earlier, the park's ride lineup is meant for kids. Most of the rides have no minimum height requirement, but even the harshest ones are 36 inches for the roller coaster and 42 inches for the drop tower. That means most young kids will be able to ride every single attraction in the park. That's a major advantage Storybook Land has over major parks. As a coaster enthusiast, the main course will undeniably be Bubbles the Coaster. This Mylar kiddie coaster is among the best kiddie coasters I've ever ridden. I think Mylar makes some of the best kiddie coasters because they tend to be more on the aggressive side, and Bubbles is one of their larger ones. It rides very similarly to the popular Cosmos curves at Knoebels. Bubbles also has some fantastic landscaping. The middle of the ride has some beautiful floral displays, and riders are pelted with bubbles on the first drop. The ride is called Bubbles the Coaster after all. The park was also supposed to add an SBF Visa spinner called the Cinderella Coaster in 2020. During my visit, I saw no evidence of this coaster. I saw no track on site or visible construction work. I'm guessing the ride may have been delayed a year due to the pandemic, but this ride will be an excellent fit for the family park when they decide to install it. As you've probably been able to tell from the video footage thus far, much of the park is extremely well shaded. The park is essentially in a forest, but the park goes a step beyond that. Many of the park's attractions are under canopies. Take the Turtle Twirl Tilt-A-Whirl for example. This is something the park didn't have to do, but they did to maximize guest satisfaction. Having a majority of the ride shaded maintains the park's relaxing atmosphere and prevents guests from being worn down by the heat throughout the day. The only other attractions I tried were the Old Timers car ride and the park's train ride. Both these attractions had fantastic landscaping along the course and also passed a few themed displays. So, do I recommend Storybook Land? If you have young kids, absolutely. This is one of the most beautiful children's parks I've ever visited. It combines great theming with accommodating attractions and friendly customer service. It brought me flashbacks to my childhood visits to Storyland in New Hampshire. Now, if you're an enthusiast, it's a bit of a tougher call. If you really want the coaster credit and appreciate solid theming, I'd say it's worth a visit because Storybook Land opens sooner than the nearby boardwalk parks. just know there probably aren't many attractions you'll be interested in riding. This park really is more about the charm and atmosphere if you're an older guest. So those are my thoughts on Storybook Land. Have you been there? What are your thoughts on this park? I would love to hear your comments down below. If you enjoyed this park review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like and considered subscribing because we'll have a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for listening.